What's up, everybody? Thralls of Metal here. I'm Jammin John.
Necrotic.
And we have another album review for you. This time we are going over a band that both this guy and I have been longtime fans of, pretty much since the beginning of their career. We are going to go over the latest offering from Machine Head with Unatoned. This record comes out on the 25th of April on Nuclear Blast Records. This band formed in 1991 in Oakland, California, kind of as a side project. Rob Flynn was in Vio-lence at the time and decided, screw it, I'm going to go ahead and start another band. This is this band's 11th full-length record. I've again been a fan since their debut, Burn My Eyes, which was an absolutely killer record. Still to this day is one of my absolute favorite offerings from Machine Head pretty much ever. We reviewed their last EP, Arrow in Words from the Sky, and then their last full-length, Kingdom and Crown, both which I thought were fairly decent offerings from the band, but both me and this guy have a very long history with Machine Head. In fact, without Machine Head, I don't know if we would have really met the way we did. We met in the hallways of summer school because both me and this guy are dumb, and he was wearing a Machine Head shirt and I was wearing a Soulfly shirt, and that's pretty much how this came to be.
Yeah, I've been a fan since Burn My Eyes as well. Huge album for me, you know, in terms of like getting into metal. I mean, there's a litany of them, but that was definitely a big one. And honestly, all right, I still like this band. I'm going to preface that because, well, yeah, you're probably looking at the thumbnail like, oh man, they made disappointed faces. I wonder what they think of this album. And I will say that my fandom and my relationship with this band feels like it is constantly tested because this band's discography is up and down like the fucking stock market. Like, legit, when it's up, like, yeah, this is fucking killer. And when it's down, you're like, dude, what the fuck happened? Like, dude, who thought this was a good idea? Rob? It's usually Rob.
When I love this band, I love the shit out of this band. In fact, we were just talking about it. If I were to go see Machine Head live at this point, I would want to hear songs from the first probably 6 records, minus Supercharger. That's pretty much where it's at. And when I don't love them,
it's hard.
It's hard.
It's tough to stomach. Now, all right, we're alluding to the fact that this may or may not be a little bit of a turd, but it does have some like solid moments. Like, this isn't like a complete wasteland of bullshit like Catharsis was. And thankfully, it's a lot shorter. To this album's credit, I like the fact that Rob shortened down the songs. There's not a song in here over 6 minutes. The entire runtime of this album is a little bit over 41 minutes, which is a stark change from, I would say, the last two. And man, Catharsis, I think, was like 75 minutes or something like that. That's insufferable for that much shitty music. And it does open up rather strong once you get past the intro Landscape of Thorns, which is Rob walking the wasteland. You know, it's maybe themed with the next track there. I don't know. It's 31 seconds of stuff you'll forget immediately after listening to it. And then it gets into these first 2 tracks, which honestly were pretty solid.
Yes.
Atomic Revelations and Unbound. Both of them showcasing 2 sides of Machine Head's personality or like musical style that we both like. Their thrashier side really comes out in Atomic Revelations, like lots of galloping riffs, big D beats, hefty chugs. It's aggressive, it's explosive. And then you get to Unbound, which is a groovy monster, like kind of a callback to like, you know, that 10-ton hammer.
Yep.
Like, it's got a big bend and a lurching riff. Like, it stomps. It's just vicious and aggressive. And like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I really hope we're not being lured into a false sense of security. And then we get to the rest of the album and we're like, fuck, they got us.
Yeah, the first 2 songs are great. After that, it's a crapshoot. It gets electronic. It gets way more sing-songy, and let's talk about this now. I don't know if Rob's got much left in him vocally. Like, it sounds like he's straining for things, and when it's not straining, it's subdued. And don't get me wrong, I've always been somewhat of a fan of Rob's cleaner vocals or his gruffer sung vocals. You know, for me, like Descend the Shades of Night and Through the Ashes of Empires, I really liked that song, and his vocals sounded great. Here, not so much.
For me, Rob's cleans were never like his, you know, like strong suit. Like, I prefer his like raspy roar. It's still tuneful. He can still do that in key, and it still gives it a lot of like aggression to like what he's doing. Even if it's more like heartfelt, you feel kind of like the grit behind it. And that generally matches up with, the ridiculous guitar tone that's on pretty much every Machine Head album. Like that's always been my big selling point is this band, even on some of their turkeys, Rob can write some fucking riffs.
Yeah.
My thing was after the first 2 albums, all right, The Burning Red is definitely a new metal gamble, and it's a hit or miss. Like, there's some songs that are good. I know.
I don't mind it.
I know. I mind it a little bit more now, but again, there are some songs that I think are good. But when he shifted to that style, I think it carried over through a lot of his work because it became more chorus-driven. Before, I feel like Machine Head was more riff-driven. Like, they were just hitting you over the head with riffs and breakdowns, and just kind of relying on that as their strength, which honestly should be their strength. It's when the music became more chorus-driven and started demanding more of these clean vocals that I feel like Rob started getting out of his element because, his clean crooning, I think, is decent. He doesn't have the voice to kind of carry over, into that, bigger realm of a big hooky chorus. Not like a Howard Jones or... even like James Hetfield back in the day too.
Yeah.
Like big heavy metal singers and shit like that. He just doesn't quite have that register in his voice. And granted, he has Jared on bass to help him out in terms of harmonizing stuff, which Jared does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But you can tell that Rob is definitely struggling on the clean vocals. And for once, I will say even on the harsh vocals.
Yeah.
He sounds really weathered on here. And while I really do like this production here, this was produced by Rob and Zach Oren, and this was mixed by Colin Richardson, who did, Burn My Eyes and did a masterful job. He did this album. This is like production perfection in my mind. So everything is very polished and clean, but it still has a little bit of grit to it. I believe Chris Clancy from Mutiny Within, for whoever remembers that band, they were kind of a blip on the radar for a little bit, but he helped out in production here. And this has like a very big, kind of gritty sound when it's on the heavier side. But there's also a lot of overproduction here. And when it comes down to like style and such, you got some thrashier tracks in here. Again, Atomic Revelations, These Scars Won't Define Us, and even Shards of Shattered Dreams. There's a little bit of a thrashy bite. Again, Unbound is a banger. Probably my favorite track on this album. But this album also, it kind of encapsulates Machine Head's entire career, or maybe all of the musical personas of Rob Flynn. And that is both good and bad. And when it's bad, it's really fucking noticeable.
2 songs that really don't make any sense to me on this record, and there's actually quite a few songs, but 2 songs that stood out the most as just being like, what? Outsider and Bone Scraper. You get like social media friendly songs, like Warped Tour songs, like arena kind of fist pumping, like Bone Scraper, kind of industrial. It's like a mixture of Seven Dust and Linkin Park. And to be honest with you, if Rob Flynn didn't sing on this track at all, I wouldn't even be able to tell you that it was a Machine Head song.
Yeah, it kind of relies on this like kind of disco bounce and a broke down riff, and yeah, it's got like the little harmonic thing in there, which is like kind of Rob putting his signature on riffs. I mean, honestly, that's kind of been his thing, and I think it's kind of cool. Like, I always liked him when it showed up, at least on, better tracks.
Yeah.
But this feels like a callback to an era of Machine Head that I'm not entirely sure how much of the fan base really wants. But again, with this band, it really depends on where you got into them, because they've done some drastically different stuff. Like, if you got into this band with The Burning Red, this is probably like a welcome return to form.
Fair enough.
For you. But if you got into them with like Burn My Eyes, this doesn't sound like it belongs at all. And even to a degree, if you got into them with like The Blackening, which is like one of their more celebrated albums for damn sure, and I really enjoy that one.
Yeah.
This isn't something you want to hear either. Same thing with Outsider, dude. It's just got this like new metal bounce to it. And I mean, honestly, there's a lot of stuff on here that, I mean, it just sounds like Rob fronting Slipknot without all the extra, beer keg drums and shit.
Addicted to Pain, that song, that's a Slipknot song. I don't care. Like, someone snuck into Slipknot Studios in the middle of the night and just went, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this.
Yeah, they stole Jim Root's laptop.
Yeah, like, it's It's straight up volume 3 subliminal verses, just again without the beer kegs. I mean, they're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes here. Like, that's a Slipknot song and not a great Slipknot song.
Yeah, like you can just kind of tell in like the riff structure, like it has a very Slipknot-ish sound, like it has the stomping drums. Again, it's missing the extra percussion and a DJ, but if you added it in there, you really got Slipknot. And honestly, that kind of goes with like the vocals too and vocal cadences. Like he's doing a lot of these like ranting, like kind of rapid fire vocals. But when it comes down to like the cadences and such, like if you swapped out him for Corey Taylor, it's a very similar delivery. And the nu metal callbacks aren't the only thing that were an issue on here. Like this, again, kind of goes for that very epic, very bright, very soaring, sort of like almost arena rock or arena metal sort of sound, which, I mean, you know, Machine Head's definitely flirted with that before. Songs like Not Long for This World and Bleeding Me Dry. Like, I really feel like they're trying to just reach for that fucking brass ring up there and, you know, play smaller arenas and such. Because, I mean, they go for, like, the big arena rock hooks. Like, they're almost kind of power ballady. Except for Bleeding Me Dry, which is just a confusing mess.
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, if you would put on Bleeding Me Dry, I don't know if I'd be able to even tell it was a Machine Head song. It is such a stark departure from their sound overall, especially the beginning. It's like reaching into the Deftones catalog.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wrote down, is this now Machine Mode or Depeche Head? It's electronic. It's got an electronic drum sort of pattern on it, or at least like a filter or envelope over the actual drums. I don't know. There's a lot of like extra electronic flourishes and, you know, well, initially I kind of liked the production in terms of like just like the bassline stuff. Guitar, bass, drums, vocals. I thought they all sat well in the mix. They all sounded good. They all sounded crisp. And as the album went on, it became very, very in love with extra electronic and synthesizer atmosphere. And this is one that it just confused the shit out of me because you go from this synth rock with, you know, Rob's more muffled crooning to some of the heaviest material on the album. And it's just confusing because neither of them link up. This is like, you know, some kid trying to put together a puzzle and the two pieces clearly don't fucking fit. And he's just like, find me a fucking hammer. I'm gonna fucking make this shit fit. And it just doesn't. Like, this song is big and clunky and, you know, for every bit that it tries to be like epic and reflective and kind of capture like a big contrast, it just comes together as like a very stitched together, overly ambitious effort. And here's the thing. I know Rob is a good songwriter because I keep coming back this band like a fucking idiot, apparently. But, you know, when, again, this band is on, they're on.
100%.
It's just, I feel like, again, Rob is trying to merge all his musical identities, like everything that he loves, and trying to put it into a band where, at this point in their career, I feel like they should be stripping down not only the song lengths, which they did do here, and I think that was good, because this made this more digestible in terms of like, oh God, I'm glad there's not more tracks. But in terms of music, like if he stripped it down and got back to, again, like those earlier albums where Machine Head really made a name for themselves, I would even take something that was like a more like stripped down version of The Blackening too. Killer stuff. Like he knows how to write cool stuff, but he just wants to cram this full of like ill-fitting stuff that is just so all over the place. Like tonally, there are moments that just kill momentum on here.
Yes.
These Scars Won't Define Us and Shards of Shattered Dreams. Both of these songs start off thrashy, aggro, great riffs. They're galloping, they're urgent, and we're like, fuck yeah. And then the chorus hits, and he keeps wanting to do these big epic choruses, like very mid-2000s metalcore, and like, oh, we got to have like the Howard Jones moment on here. Like, it doesn't work, especially on Shards of Shattered Dreams.
Yeah, that one completely halts the energy and groove in the song. The chorus straight doesn't fit. I don't know where you wanted to put this chorus on this record, but this was not the song to do it because it completely killed the momentum, the mood, the vibe, any of it. It just straight doesn't fit.
Yeah, the song kind of starts off like a fucking like overkill rager. Like it's D beats, it's aggressive, it's fun. Like, all right, we're gonna get a bit of a reprieve from like the last well, 3 tracks, 4 tracks maybe. I mean, Dustmaker's barely a track, but whatever, I'll get to that. But then, like, all the energy, I feel like, is hijacked by this chorus that just does not fit. Like, it feels like it could have fit on, the other songs that, I didn't like as much. I don't know. It's just like, again, like this big kind of like grasping for the big epic bell that rings resounding all across Oakland or wherever they are at the moment. It doesn't work. It feels forced in there. Stuff like this makes this band difficult for me to like love, and even more difficult for me to defend. Like, there's only certain albums that I'll really defend by this band, and then the other ones, again, the pattern of releases, and when they're bad, like, that's a big thing. But also, Rob likes to jump on trends. I don't think this is necessarily a trend jumper, but I mean, he jumped on nu metal when nu metal became hot. He abandoned nu metal when metalcore became, the hot thing. And then I don't know what the fuck happened around Catharsis, but I don't know, like, maybe he was trying to re-embrace like some of the nu metal tropes and merge it into his current sound. I feel like that's kind of what we got here. Like, thankfully this wasn't as long as Catharsis, but I feel like there's just elements of that where he wanted to get that one right. Like, he wanted to do Catharsis right, and maybe like this is him saying like this is the better version of it, but I don't think there's a better version of it. And all this did was, I don't know, it kind of misled me. Like, I felt really good opening this album.
Yeah, me
and
too.
Like,
I was excited.
It felt like strong again. Like, all right, there's elements in here that I love by this band. And then as the album went on, I just felt fucking completely let down. This band needs to get back to its roots. Baseline, I'm just saying that, like, get back to like the old school sound. Like, dude, a lot of these bands that have been coming back after years and such, put out albums that are more reflective of their earlier years. Like, you maybe are at that point in your career, like, you've tried a whole bunch of new stuff and tried to like integrate other ideas into your bass sound, and the results have been mixed at best. I'm being kind of nice here, but I still feel like there's something salvageable on a good chunk of these songs if they didn't try to fucking like ape stuff that fans were kind of divided on Machine Head anyway.
Yeah, because the thing is in a lot of these songs, even the ones that I didn't like so much or at all, really, there are moments in those songs, little parts that are like, yeah, they're groovy, they're heavy, and you're like, all right, you get a good breakdown here and there. But like overall, as a whole, it just sounds like a hodgepodge of possible ideas that they were just like, all right, fuck it, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, or extra stuff that just doesn't belong. Like, I brought up Dustmaker, and I don't quite get that one. Like, it comes in with this weird phaser effect on the guitar. It almost kind of sounds like the start of Beat It.
Yeah.
But then it gets into this like moody, more Deftones-y thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's cool, but I don't want that on a Machine Head album. And it's just kind of there. Like, it just stands out as this little extra nugget of a song. Like, hey, we did this. So like, okay, for this band? Because I don't know if this necessarily works here. I mean, it's not terrible.
Well, and then you got the last track, Scorn, which is a ballad, pretty much. It pretty much sounds like a Corey Taylor ballad.
They misspelled snuff.
Right. But I think that really it's in the wrong place. They could have gotten rid of Dustmaker altogether and put Scorn in its place, and this would have been an 11-track album, and it probably would have made a little bit more sense, because there's not a lot to Dustmaker either. There's not vocals, really. There's some spoken, like, female, like, whispering off in the distance.
Scorn, I didn't necessarily hate it, but I also, at that point, was like, I didn't need a ballad to close this out. I've been waiting for, like, the vicious side of Machine Head to really show up, and this might have been that opportunity. I mean, hell, like, the word Scorn, I don't know, I feel like, all right, this is the last hurrah. Let's get fucking vicious. Let's close this out in, like, fucking Block.
Yeah, right.
But no. Again, it's not terrible. It's just not what I wanted. And, I mean, that kind of applies to a lot of this album. Like, there's stuff in here that's decent. It's good. And then there's stuff that just, again, makes me scratch my head and just go, why? Why that? I don't get it. So overall, I'm going to give this 2 stars. Like, it was close to the 1.5 mark. But, again, There's songs in here where I feel like they're salvageable if they were just rearranged and just ditch the stuff that just it doesn't work. And there's plenty on here that just doesn't work. Like, I don't know who's like pining for the new metal days of Machine Head, but I'm just gonna say fucking stop. That era was, again, like divisive as best, merging all of Machine Head's musical identities into one album, which I kind of feel like is kind of what happened here. And I don't know, it comes across more or less as like Rob kind of like just grabbing at stuff that worked in the past and trying to integrate it into, you know, their overall sound. And for me, it just comes across as a really tonally like uneven album. And again, it's got some salvageable songs, but overall, like, I probably wouldn't come back to this. And I hate to say it, I would throw this in the same kind of bracket as Supercharger and Catharsis. I would not say it's as bad as those, but it's not nearly as good as like a lot of other ones. Like, I would take the Burning Red over this album, honestly. Again, I still like Rob. You know, I think he's, again, a solid songwriter. I think he's a genuinely pretty good dude overall. Like, yeah, he's fucked up and chased off band members, but he's been, you know, transparent about that. And I respect that. But, this is kind of a big no for me. But if you're a longtime fan, check it out. Who knows, you might really dig it. I did not glow this album up one bit. So pretty much fuck whatever I said. If you really want to jam this, just jam it. Check it out for yourself.
Since I can't give this record 1 3/4 stars because it was 1.5 was my initial statement, and then I thought about it and thought, no, that's a little extreme. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it 2 stars as well. I really liked Machine Head when Machine Head first started. I still do. I still love the first few records, minus Supercharger. I still love the first few records easily. I will put those on at any given time of the day. Really, whenever. I jammed Burn My Eyes the other day, and it was a great decision. I don't know really what's going on with Machine Head anymore, and I think a lot of people are able to fall into that category going, just like, what are you doing, dude? And I just don't think that this is great. And the sad part is the band is packed full of good musicians. You know, Rob is a great songwriter, always has been, but there's just too much hodgepodge random nu metal bullshit in here and not a lot of Machine Head. This record easily could be called everything but the chorus, because I'm going to be honest with you too, even on the strong songs, I don't think the choruses are great. And then there are times where I just think the choruses are straight garbage. There are random parts in most songs that are pretty cool, but overall, that doesn't make the song. I feel bad for shitting on this record because I like Machine Head. I just don't like this era of Machine Head. And in today's day and age, what's going on with music and bands overall, and especially when you got old school bands coming back and releasing bangers, like, it might be time to go back to your roots and give everybody what they want. I don't want to go to Warped Tour. I don't want to listen to electronica. I don't want to go to the strip club. I want to listen to Machine Head, and this, to me, is just not Machine Head.
This band perpetually feels like they need to write a comeback album like every 2 albums.
Yeah.
And that I'm tired of that pattern.
Just check it out. It's not what it used to be, but give it a whirl for yourself.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They are only 99 cents, and our lone perk is doing a members-only live stream, which we will be doing probably not long after we get back from Maryland Death Fest. It'll probably give you a chance to catch up with us and like, oh my God, what bands you see? Like, we tried to see all of them, and we lost our minds and got sunburned and drunk. But it was pretty fucking cool. But memberships are the main way to support the channel. We also still have our store, thrallsofmetal.com, with our t-shirts and hats. That is linked down below. And if you are interested in hanging out with us and live streams, different live streams than our usual live streams, there's a button down there that says join, and you can hit it, and that would be really cool of you.
And even if you don't, that's actually also totally fine too, because we here at Thralls of Metal do all this stuff for you guys. It's not just 2 of us sitting down here hanging out. We were gonna hang out anyway. I've been hanging out with this dude for like 30 years.
Sad.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, we do all this for you. Album reviews, discography rankings. We got At the Gates coming up next, and it's coming soon. We're starting to work on it. There's a new segment that we're gonna start here that's gonna work kind of in tandem with our rankings. It's gonna be a little bit more interactive for you guys. That'll be cool. We've got discussion forums, multiple live streams that we do. Not just the members streams. We got States of Metal. We got Nick's collection updates. We got unboxings. We We got all sorts of stuff. We're all metal all the time. Once again, we do it for you because we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rule. Tons of content coming in the future. So one more big thank you because you guys are awesome. And we will catch you later.